I've racked up millions of views just with these random videos. I sort of took it on my chin, to be honest. Like, if I can get in at a big company, get all this work experience on my CV under my belt, then that's just going to set me up, in my opinion, more than it would have done if I went to uni. My family thought I was mental for leaving Microsoft. Mentors were a huge one for me. I used to create videos about like cookies and stuff because I've got an obsession with cookies. I was FaceTiming people left, right and centre, like, oh my God, oh, good question. Yeah, that is a really good question. Is hard. Yeah. Like the graft of that was the most challenging thing. And that's when it really started to blossom into something purposeful. It's going to start conversations that will change your life. Maybe a bit controversial, but I would actually say...
Whoa, wasn't Holly fantastic?
That was so incredible, so inspiring. I like the level of creativity she had was incredible.
Really,
Immense.
like, I'm so with you on that. Like, I'm so inspired. I'm in the Holly fan club for sure. Yeah. What did you like the most about what she shared?
About the challenges she faced and how she went against what her parents had recommended originally.
Yeah, they don't always know best, do they?
No.
We won't let your mum hear that, though. Right, well, you guys are in for an absolute treat. Enjoy our episode with Holly.
Hi, I'm Holly and I'm taking you behind the future.
Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Future. I am joined by a fabulous co-host today, Oben. Oben, let's introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Oben. I'm 15 and I go to the math school in Rochester.
Amazing. And what are you studying?
I'm studying computer science and design technology.
Amazing. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And we have a wonderful guest with us today, the fabulous Holly. Holly, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Thank you. So I'm Holly from Your Future. I am co-founder and Chief Growth Officer. And I was a previous degree apprentice at Microsoft. And I started a business called Apprenticeship in that time that I've recently just merged with Your Future.
Wow, we have got a lot to unpick there and find out, because also you're relatively young still as well. So
I'm 22.
Wow, so you have done a lot already. Amazing. So where did it all start, your love of digital and creating videos and content?
It all started actually when I was working at Tesco's. So when I was in sixth form, worked at Tesco's part-time, and that was just when TikTok had started getting quite popular around COVID times, and I just started creating random like rubbish videos, but they were based on trends and they'd get quite a few views. I used to create videos about like cookies and stuff because I've got an obsession with cookies, and making cookie dough and like working at Tesco's and whatnot, and I've racked up millions of views just with these random videos. So I started to enjoy it then. And then when I was at Microsoft, I was a degree apprentice and I started to document my journey. And that's when it really started to blossom into something purposeful. And that's when I started to create all my ideas and like my visions for how I wanted to move this forward, basically.
Amazing. And how did you get a degree apprenticeship with Microsoft? Because I imagine that's quite competitive.
Oh gosh, yeah, it was. It was basically just through so much trial and error. So before I got that, I applied for over 30 apprenticeships.
Wow.
And so I experienced a lot of rejection, but that was a good thing in my case because it made me understand what makes a good application and what doesn't, basically. So it was just through failing loads because that taught me more than the success actually did, basically.
That's a really good lesson. Wow, we're like minutes in and we've already got like an absolute brilliant bit. Oben, I'll hand over to you.
What made you choose an apprenticeship over going to university?
Great question. I personally just didn't want the debt, to be honest. And I knew that I didn't have a specific goal for my career where I needed a degree for it. So it wasn't like I wanted to be a doctor and I knew I needed to study a medical degree. It was more the case of don't really know what exactly it is I want to do, but maybe wanted to go into some sort of business realm. And so I was like, there's no point spending all that money or getting into the debt. I know people say it's not real debt and stuff, but for me, it felt quite real at that time. There was no point when I didn't have something that I knew I needed it for. So I chose an apprenticeship for that reason, but also because I just wanted to get work experience and get paid, basically. And I thought, well, there we go, best of both worlds. So to be fair, when I chose an apprenticeship, it wasn't really about the qualification. It was more about, if I can get in at a big company, get all this work experience on my CV under my belt, then that's just going to set me up, in my opinion, more than it would have done if I went to uni.
Yeah, such a good way to look at it. And how was studying and working at the same time? Was that tricky?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't easy, and I did have to make sacrifices, and there was a lot of time and effort put into it. But yeah, you're not going to have the same experience as if you went to university. You're not going to be partying out every night. So it was a different lifestyle. A lot of people are worried about choosing that pathway because they think to themselves, oh, is it going to be so much work? Am I not going to have a social life? It's not that extent. Like, you're not going to have a social life, but you do, as I said, have to make some sort of sacrifices, and you do get periods where you're not studying too much, so you get a little bit of leeway sometimes, which is good. But yeah, it's dedication.
Yeah, which is a good thing to learn early on, because
I think so.
to go far, that normally is required, isn't it?
Yeah, I was literally with one of my sister's friends yesterday. She was helping me at a shoot, and she's going into university, and we were chatting about how different our lives are going to be, like, compared to each other, when we left sixth form, because she's just left and getting her A-level results. And it made me really think that I literally, when I came out of sixth form, went straight into a 9 to 5, straight into that grind, straight into studying. And yeah, it is very different to the other pathway, and it does take a lot. But I sort of took it on my chin, to be honest. Like, it's only now I'm reflecting on it, I'm like, wow, yeah, it is quite different.
Yeah.
But I didn't really have people around me that also went to university. I was surrounded by a lot of older people and people that sort of went down this vocational pathway. So it's only when I step back and reflect, I'm like, yeah, it is different, but it's worth it.
And do you see, like, if you compare yourself to people that were with you at sixth form, are you further ahead in your career because of it, do you think?
Yes, I think so. But also, I think I've obviously taken a different path, because obviously I went on the apprenticeship and then I left to do the business full time. So, like, I've pushed myself probably, like, a lot more than the average 22-year-old.
Yeah.
So, like, it's sort of, sometimes I think it's a bit difficult to compare myself to other people, because it's like, it's probably not the typical journey. Yeah.
And so you left the apprenticeship before finishing it?
Yes, I did, yeah. So I basically got to a bit of a crossroads where I was like, right, I'm either going to have to invest 100% of my time into the apprenticeship or not, basically, because, as I said, it requires effort and you've got to put that in. So I spotted a gap in the market, which was basically through creating my TikTok content. I thought employers needed to be creating this side of content to help young people understand about careers. And I didn't really see any organisation helping employers do that. So I was like, right, well, I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. And I've always been quite apprehensive to share that side of my journey, because for a while I didn't want to speak about it, because I felt sort of ashamed that I was promoting apprenticeships and promoting this way of getting into work, but then I left one early. And then it wasn't until I met someone who started mentoring me, she was like my business coach, that she said, you know what, you've got to be proud of that journey. That shows how impactful apprenticeships can be, because the fact that you didn't even complete the whole one and you were able to go on and do this through everything you've learned in that apprenticeship, like, that speaks volumes about them. So now it's something I shout about and I'm really proud of.
And so you absolutely should. Like, I'm sitting here feeling like, I'm so proud.
Oh,
what an amazing thing. Like, were there family you had to convince that it was okay?
Oh, yeah.
Like, and how were they?
My family thought I was mental for leaving Microsoft, because my mum and dad, they've never worked at, like, an organisation as prestigious as that at all. So when I got it, they could not believe it. And I couldn't either. So when I told them, look, I think I'm gonna try and go by myself for a bit, they were like, no, like, you're I just don't think you're making a good decision here. But at the end of the day, they can't tell me what to do. So they did end up supporting me, which was good. And now they're like, thank God you did that, Holly. They literally are so happy that I did that now. They can't believe it. They look back and they're like, this is just crazy, the journey that you've had. And like, I'm so happy you made that decision. So am I.
Yeah, God. What? Imagine if you hadn't.
I know. Honestly, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
That's why you just got to trust your gut.
And that took some guts, I
Oh,
imagine.
God.
And especially going against your parents. Like it's...
I know. I think I was deliberating. I think that's the right word. Deliberating it for a while. Because I'd launched the business 6 months into the apprenticeship and then I left 6 months later. So that sort of shows you. Yeah, so I was thinking about it for a while and I'd spoken to my parents briefly about it, but they were like, no. And I sort of went with what they were saying. And then one day I just thought, you know what, I've just got to do it. And when I look back, that moment was easier. I was like the previous 6 months before that were a bit difficult, a bit uncomfortable because I was trying to make the decision. But when I actually made it, it didn't feel as daunting. It didn't feel as major. It just felt right, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just felt like I was really trusting. I had a vision and I saw it and I just trusted in it.
Well, and also you probably saw that there was a chance someone else might do it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Very
I
true.
can't wait and I need to just get this done. And actually that, yeah, there's nothing better than that feeling once you finally made a decision. It does like a weight lifts from your shoulders, even though the hard work was probably about to really kick in. You're like, at least I know what I'm doing now. At least I know what path I'm on, as opposed to being at this crossroads that's really tricky.
I had no clue what I was about to uncover.
Yeah.
I literally, when I left, I was selling £10 ebooks, right? So this is how I started. I think most people like me as a Gen Z think the minute you start entrepreneurship, boom, like you're going to make so much money, all this stuff. Anyway, I was selling £10 ebooks on how to get an apprenticeship and also how to do interviews and things like that for people that just had no clue, no experience like myself. And I thought, you know what, once I leave and I really go into this full time and I launch more stuff, you know, on launches, I'm going to make like 30 grand. Like, it's just going to be great. Like, I couldn't have been far from the truth. I think I made, what did I make? In total, from the £10 ebooks, like £1,000 or something over like months.
Wow.
So like, it was very humbling to say the least. So I learnt so much and I had to really pivot fast so that I could actually afford to have left, you know. So the realities hit me very fast, but I'm glad it happened that way because otherwise, yeah, it would have just been all perfect. I wouldn't have learned all the lessons I have learned.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And you then ended up going into like big companies and creating their content. How does that happen from selling ebooks to...
Yeah. So I was sat in the office one day and I was like, obviously I can't do this £10 ebook model because it's not going to be a sustainable business. And then I just thought, what else can I be doing? And I looked at my journey and I was like, what other problems are there out there? And that's when, actually, I think it was, I was trying to think of what other content I could create to make my apprenticeship page even bigger on TikTok. And I came up with the idea of it would be really cool if I could see a day in the life of every single apprentice at every single company. And that was actually the original idea just for my content. And then I was like, hold on a minute, I can actually make this into a business model. So yeah, basically came up with the concept and then somehow packaged it. I think my first package was like £200 for 3 videos. And the first client that said yes to working with me actually said, we can't pay that, you're going to have to go away and basically up your price and rethink it. It was that low. And I basically got it through just relentless advocacy on LinkedIn, basically. Every single day sending messages out there to all these employers, asking them, like, what are you currently doing? What challenges have you got? Would you be interested in doing this even for free? I sent loads of messages out saying to people, I'll do it for free. And none of them got back to me. It was when I was actually charging that they got back to me, which was interesting.
That is interesting, isn't it? I love that business that said, no, you need to go and charge us
Yeah,
more money.
I know.
Like, absolutely,
That
that's a brilliant business there to realise.
Massive tech company.
Yeah.
And they were really great. They really honest with me. And I saw one of the people from the business at RecFest earlier. last month, I think it was, and we were just chatting about like the journey and how different it all is now to when I first started and how far I've come. And she's just like, I can't believe it. And hopefully we're going to be finally working together soon, which is cool.
Amazing. Because this isn't a long period of time, is it, that this has been?
Well, let me think. So yeah, it's been about, I first launched it at 18, so it's been about 4 years. Yeah. So not too long, no.
No, not in the scheme of things.
No.
It's
felt long, but yeah, not in the scheme of things.
Yeah. I bet it feels long, but also is like a blink of an eye when you're like, well, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
To think £10 ebooks to...
I know. Yeah, I can't believe it.
It's amazing. Oben, have you got some questions?
When you got your first like client or customer, how did you feel? Like, did it make you, I don't know.
Oh,
like,
I remember so it was actually that client that I just spoke about. I was on a call with them, pitched them my idea, and they were like, yeah, like brilliant, we love it, we want to go ahead with it. And they said you need to obviously change the pricing and stuff. And I was just ecstatic. I was FaceTiming people left, right and centre, like, oh my God, I just finally, because it took so long to even get people on a call, let alone get them to agree to doing some sort of content. So, unmatched, like the best feeling ever. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. It's a really good question as well. And does it still feel like that when you win a new client?
Yeah, do you know what? It does. It really does, actually, because every client is so different, and it means that I get to learn something new, because when I'm going into their workplaces, I obviously understand about that career as well as like the viewer and the content that I'm creating. I get loads of insight. I was filming at the NHS yesterday at the Hertfordshire and West Essex Trust, and I was filming a speech and language therapist. I was filming, what else was I filming? Dietitian, and a degree apprentice nurse.
Wow.
So like I'm getting all this insight as well as obviously practicing my digital skills and doing all that type of stuff, which I enjoy. Yeah, it's just so interesting for me.
Yeah. How did you learn the digital skills around creating the videos? Was that just trial and error, or?
Do you know what? I think a lot of it was from TikTok. I learned so much from TikTok. So a lot of it, yes, was trial and error, looking at how other people do it on TikTok as well, and probably like some YouTube tutorials. I didn't obviously study a course around it. I think a lot of it, to be fair, is how us Gen Zers, we've grown up with our phones all the time. So it is sort of easy for us. We've already got that baseline skill with our phones, with tech. So
second nature.
Yeah, there we go. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, it's just built in, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've kind of never known a life without it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially the Gen Alphas.
Yeah.
The ones below us.
Yeah, they're
the
ones.
Going to be even more.
Well, they're the ones that are like 18 months older, like picking up their parents' phone and already know how to like unlock it and stuff. Yeah. And you just think, whoa, okay, this is.
I know.
Shows how intuitive the tech is, though.
I went out for dinner with some of my family like a couple of weeks back, and one of my little cousins, she's a Gen Alpha, and she was teaching me stuff like on apps and all these new apps she had that would really help me. And I was just like, wow, like this is another level from what we were.
Wow. I dread to think how out of it I am.
No.
Oh dear. Is TikTok your main platform? Is that where you put all of your content?
Yeah, for now it is, but definitely I've got a lot of plans for Instagram, YouTube. I think a lot of people are saying Instagram nowadays is dead, and I just don't believe that. I think, especially for myself and people around me and what I've seen from my generation, our habits are, yes, we can search on TikTok and we can find out new information, learn off TikTok and get inspiration, etc. But then Instagram is almost like this place where we go and sense check things.
Yeah.
Instagram's like this place where I make sure the TikTok stuff is legit type of thing.
Yeah.
So I'll go to like TikTok, then it'll be Instagram, and then maybe it'll be Google.
Yeah.
So yeah, TikTok is where I put predominantly all of my content. I think apprenticeships and careers especially is quite big on TikTok, probably a bit bigger than Instagram in my opinion, and I just prefer it.
Yeah.
I think TikTok is more authentic and it's more natural, and I connect with people that aren't necessarily already public figures on there, which I enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. And to think this all started with making videos about cookies when you worked at Tesco. I mean,
I
it's
know.
mad though, isn't it? How something can develop from just a little hobby
Yeah.
alongside a part-time job that, yeah, to then think this is your career now.
I know. When I look back at it, I can't believe it, to be honest.
Yeah.
It is quite crazy, but you know, I listened to one of your previous podcasts and you were speaking about transferable skills and stuff like that. And people think that sometimes how you start off, you need to be making sure like you're picking the right A levels or you're picking the right this, you're doing the right work experience, whatever. It's not the case because everything's so transferable. Like, people would have thought, why is she creating content about cookies and stuff? Like, it's not teaching her anything. She needs to be doing X, Y, Z instead. But that's just not the case because it served me so well.
Yeah.
And it taught me loads.
Yeah.
So even if you just start off with the most basic things that people might think are stupid, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just realizing that is a skill you're developing there and that actually you can turn that into something incredible. But also that does take a lot of work because I do think sometimes people see the shiny end of it. They see all the videos you create and they're like, oh, that's really easy. I'm making videos already. Great. I'll go do that. And as you've just started to tell the story, it's not as easy as that to get to the point where you're getting paid for it and able to create a living from it.
Yeah, and the standard as well, especially when you've got clients, like it's not as easy as just creating your own content. For me, my process with creating content with clients is things have got to be scripted, it's got to be all approved beforehand. I've got to really engulf myself in that client's culture and their values and really understand what their goals are and then how I can mould a video to reach that goal. And then, as I said, it's all got to be approved, it's got to be edited in certain ways. It's not just as simple as thinking of an idea, filming it and posting it. There's so much more to it.
Do you ever finish the final edit and they go, no?
No, actually.
Good.
But
that sounds like you've done the right planning then to make that happen.
I've actually got to a place where I know what my clients are going to say. So a lot of the time I'll be like, that's got to be edited out because they don't like that. So I know what they're going to say. So really it's only just a couple of tweaks nowadays.
Yeah.
Like at the start it was a couple more edits, but yeah, the planning beforehand really is vital.
Yeah.
To making sure you haven't got too much work on the other end.
Just a quick note from me. We'd love you to hit the subscribe button. This helps us more than you might realise when it comes to growing this podcast, ensuring we can bring you the best guests possible. Thank you. Back to the episode.
And I guess, how did you go about learning all those business skills? Because it's one thing to be able to create the videos, but actually learning, how do I win the client? How do I invoice the client? How do I make sure, do I have a contract with the client? How do I manage the planning? Like there's just so many. Oh, hold on. When I'm not just doing this for me, I've suddenly got a lot of other considerations.
Couple of things. One, mentors were a huge one for me. I remember when I had that first client that said, yeah, we want to work with you, we need to put you through our procurement systems. I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like procurement?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, I was literally really worried like what are they going to be asking of me? And then the next minute clients were saying, right, I just need to raise a PO. And I was like, PO? Like, what is that? So I leaned a lot on mentors in the early stages. And to be honest, I still do because I'm still in the early stages. But I got mentors in like everything you can imagine. So when I first started, I entered something called a business plan competition. It was it's called the Spellform Business Plan Competition. It was run by Kwasi Kwarteng, who was once Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Amazing.
Which is quite cool. He was my local MP at the time. And I basically entered that and I came second in that, which was quite cool. And as part of that, I won £1,000 for my business and I got an office space for the year for free and things like that. It was excellent. And that really, really helped me so much because when I was at that office space, there was all these other business owners, entrepreneurs that I could lean on. So I had quite a few mentors in that office space, which was great. And then I had like someone that was she was like a family friend's friend that I met at a pub once, called Julie. She became my mentor as well. And then I reached out to people on social media. So I have another mentor who is a personal brand expert called Amelia, who I literally reached out to through Instagram a couple years back, and she's been my mentor ever since. So yeah, I've really leaned on these other people for the business skills. And then obviously like YouTube is really important for me as well, TikTok, and I do read as well, podcasts, huge.
Yeah.
I learned so much from podcasts as well.
Yeah. Well, podcasts are incredible. Like, you think years and years ago, to get this level of content, like, you had to buy stuff. Like, you'd have to go and buy a set of like DVDs to watch almost to get this kind of content, or you'd have to buy the book. But actually, this is all just free, readily available. You can listen to hear across any topic. Like, there's such niche podcasts as well for such different things. I guess, so you mentioned PO. What's a PO?
Purchase order.
Nice.
So a PO is basically, with these big corporate companies, they can't just invoice you without a PO. They have to raise a purchase order so that it basically raises it in their systems as like an amount that they're going to pay you, basically.
Yeah.
And then they generate this number that you put on your invoice to send them.
And at that point, you know that it's happening, don't you? Like, if you've got a PO, they're going to pay you money, which is really good. Like,
green flags.
It's like, yes, because until you've got the PO, they say yes sometimes.
Yeah.
And then you never get the PO, and you're like, oh. So the PO is the bit to celebrate, really, isn't it? It's a good bit.
That's the, like, better than the deal signing.
Yeah, it really is. I love it.
Procurement is basically the process of onboarding your company into the company that you're going to work for systems, basically. So procurement is things like making sure that the company will do due diligence checks on you, on your company and your background. They'll get you probably like to fill out some sort of form with all your company information in. They'll make sure you're a proper registered company, you've got insurance, stuff like that. Because I didn't know what the hell procurement meant. And you can actually get careers in all these things as well.
Yeah, you'll have procurement specialists. So we as an agency often, like, procurement will manage the process of the pitching. So we'll go, and it'll be us and a few other agencies at pitching, and then they're helping the marketing team decide whether we're the right ones or not. And and then there's hoops to jump through, which actually I can imagine was quite hard as a really small business, because sometimes the things they're asking for, you're like, I absolutely don't have that. It's just me.
Yeah, because that first company that said yes to me, obviously they're a massive, massive tech company. And when I started going through procurement for them, they were like, yeah, you need to be a limited company. You need to have all this stuff. And I was a sole trader at the time. So I was just myself practicing business. That's what a sole trader is, basically. So I needed to become a limited company to work with them. So I had to go through all these things myself in setting up the business so that I could even work with these companies.
Yeah.
And even that was quite daunting, because for so long I was a bit like, I don't know if I want to go limited company yet, because I don't know enough about it. I don't know enough about the tax stuff. I'm not making any money. So like, is there any point? And I had a lot of conflicting information. People would say to me, you need to go limited now, Holly, just do it. And then other people say, no, it's like not tax efficient, don't do it. So there was some times where you just had to do it and just see what happens, basically, because there's a lot of different advice out there online.
There really is. And I think that's where your mentors. So how did you, obviously you found some of the mentors through the co-working space, but did you just literally approach people and say, can you help mentor me? Like, how did that work?
So some of them were quite natural. So some of them, as I said, were in that co-working space, and they sort of took me under their wing, to be honest. And they were like, let me mentor you, let me help you. Like, here's my number if you ever need any help. Absolutely amazing people. And then some of them, well, obviously Amelia that I spoke about before, I found her on LinkedIn. So she was quite a big LinkedIn creator. And I was like really inspired by her. I was like, this woman is just acing business. She was just really inspirational. And I was like, I want to learn from this woman. So I just thought, why not? Why not reach out to her? And I thought, best place to reach out is where someone has a channel that isn't as big as another, because then you're not going to be saturated with all the messages. So I messaged her on Instagram one day, and I just said, look, do you do mentoring? I'd love to learn from you. It was literally as simple as that. And she said, not at the moment, bit busy, but contact me again in X amount of months, and I'll see what I'm doing. And then it came to that amount of months, and I thought, you know what, reach out to her again. And I did, and she was like, yeah, reach out to my EA, which is an executive assistant, bit like a PA. And I got a meeting in with her, and then went from there. And I basically had like monthly sessions with her, and now I'm a part of her group coaching platform as well, which is really cool.
Amazing.
So now get even weekly sessions, which is great.
I love that.
Yeah, you just got to surround yourself with people that are where you want to be, because that's what's been the game changer for me. Even my friends that I had, even the people in my close-knit circle, were people that were successful in my opinion and their own opinion, because success is different for everyone, and like people that were doing really well in their careers, people that had fun around as well. And they always say you're the average of like the 5 people you spend the most time with. So I made sure those people were people that inspired me, basically.
And it's amazing what you can get just by asking.
Yeah.
And just like a cold outreach as
I
well to
know.
someone you've never met.
And I was literally private on Instagram as well. Like I just couldn't believe she would reply to me. At the time I was dating someone that said, oh, she's never going to reply to you. Like, why are you bothering, basically? She's not going to mentor you, Holly, is she? You haven't got any money to spend, blah, blah, blah. And then he was totally wrong. So
Yeah,
you just got to do it. Yeah, you just got to do it, basically.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing because people want to give back. Like, people want to. Like, sometimes they don't have the time. So it was great, the fact that she said, not right now, reach out again. But actually then the fact that you followed up and were able to. But people, if they've got time, will make it to help someone. And the fact that someone's open enough to ask and to just knock on their door, like it's a huge compliment as well for them that you've spotted them and said, I want to learn from you. I think you're incredible. So I think a lot of people don't realise how much people will be open to doing that. Yeah. And that you just have to ask.
I was very surprised. And also I think it's a really crucial thing around mentorship as well, is thinking about how you can also help that person. So like as a young person, especially back then, I had like no experience at all. I was a bit like, I don't know if I should be reaching out, because actually I don't have anything to offer them. But actually, being a young person, you do have a unique perspective that they also want to hear.
Yeah.
So it's like you can do a bit of reverse mentoring as well, which is quite cool.
Definitely.
So I think a big part of mentorship is obviously people do want to give back, and I was surprised by that. But also mutually beneficial relationships are really great as well. So it's always like I'm conscious of, when I was obviously at that stage, like they're helping me a lot, I'm learning a lot from them, but as I've grown and progressed, it's like also how can I help them to keep that relationship going?
Yeah. And you will just find opportunities. It might be 2 years down the line that you suddenly go, oh, I've got a great opportunity to connect you with a good person. Yeah. And that's how building a network works, doesn't it? And it's incredible. So you're building this business.
Yes.
That's your business. So it's a Prentivia at this point.
Yeah.
And then you meet Tom at Your Future. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so when was it? Like over a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago now, this guy called Tom emailed me. I just got this random email in my inbox, and he was basically saying he was building, I don't know really what he said, but he was building something to help Gen Z with jobs and stuff like that. And he said he'd come across my account and my videos on TikTok, and he just really respected what I built and stuff like that, and he was just like, let's have a chat. Anyway, we got on a Teams call, had a chat about what he was building, and it was very similar to something that I wanted to build. And we basically left that call and just carried on building what we were both building. And then a couple years later, I was basically sat in my office one day, and I was just thinking, like, do you know what they've built is really cool. I'm really liking the look of it, and just thought, like, let's basically resume that conversation, see how we can sort of work together still, because you're better off working and building something together rather than two separate competing people, really. So I just thought, let's reach out. So one Saturday morning, I was in the office, just sent Tom a message and was like, shall we have a catch up? Then we caught up, we spoke about different ways that we could potentially collaborate, And yeah, it just went from there basically. And Tom had always said that we'd followed each other on socials, and he'd always said like we'd make a good team, and we were aligned in what we believed and about early careers and what we were promoting and saying. So it felt very natural. Yeah, and it just happened very quickly, to be honest. And yeah, I'm really pleased that I made the move.
Amazing. So you ended up selling your business?
Yeah, well, technically not selling, it was literally just
Merging.
merged. Yeah, just
Amazing.
merging. Yeah. So yeah, how it works is merged. I've obviously got equity in the new business, come in as a co-founder, and we're working on building that all together.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a journey.
I know.
How did you make sure that you thought you could work together enough? Because I suppose that's the
good question. I know.
hard bit sometimes
I
to know.
I think for me, I was just looking out for core values that are important to me in the process of having these conversations. So I really wanted to make sure that these people had good hearts. Like, I think that's the bottom line of it all. Like, if someone's got a good heart, you know that like any challenges you come up against, you're going to be able to rectify them. If they're emotionally intelligent, they've got a good heart, in my opinion. So those were the two key things, as well as making sure I'm in on the product and I believe in it and stuff.
Yeah.
Those were the two key things that are really important, and I definitely got that from them and their whole investment team.
Yeah.
They were really, really conscious that I was also getting a good deal out of it. There was a lot of negotiations going on, and yeah, they were really, really thinking about my perspective in the deal, and like I just felt really seen and heard throughout the whole thing from everyone.
Yeah.
So I knew that it was a good decision.
Yeah. And to be fair, working in early careers, most people do have a good heart, because it is
exactly.
such a beautiful space to work in helping inspire people into careers, but you still have to be careful and make sure that you are, and it feels like you have. And so you had lawyers helping you with that process. Like, that must have been a whole new world for you.
Yeah. Well, I've got this company that I use quite a lot for legal stuff. So yeah, in terms of like contracts and things like that for businesses that I work with. So I feel like I'm more used to that world. And I also used to have a client called City Century, who are a group of over 50 law firms championing solicitor apprenticeships. So I worked with them for over a year, and I've done a lot of work with them. So I feel like I was getting the lingo, and I was more in the know about the legal stuff, which is quite cool.
That's good, yeah, because it can be quite daunting, that side of things. I know the first time we bought a business, I was just like, whoa, I have no idea. Like, you're going to need to hold our hands through this, because this is different.
I know.
So yeah, making sure you've got a good legal team that you feel like you really trust, and you feel like you can ask silly questions too. And they're not silly, it's just you don't know it, and you're like, I need to be able to ask you this question because I need to understand what I'm doing.
Exactly.
So no, it's really good. What a journey. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Oben, on?
You mentioned like challenges earlier briefly, but were there any like notable ones that arose? And if so, like how did you counter them?
Oh,
good question.
Yeah, that is a really good question. I just don't think you can beat the challenge of like being an 18-year-old, having no clue in business at all, to getting your first client and building a sustainable business that pays you money. Like, that was the hardest thing for me.
Yeah.
Because I remember my mentor saying, look, Holly, you've not got a business, like you've not got a proper business. If you can't pay yourself, it's useless, you know?
Yeah.
Because that is the most important thing. And for so long, I couldn't pay myself for so long. And it was a real struggle.
Yeah.
Like, to get people as an 18-year-old who basically got no experience, who's telling employers that are like global companies to be on TikTok, to get them to pay you money that is sustainable in the long run so that you can build a team, is hard.
Yeah.
Like, the graft of that was the most challenging thing. And trying to understand that like this is how you do it. This is the process. It's not overnight like it looks like on social media. It's not. It just doesn't happen in the click of a finger on one launch, on one product launch.
Yeah.
That was the most challenging thing for me.
Yeah.
Building
having
this.
to get up each day going, right, we're going to go again.
Yeah. Having to get up each day
again
with literally no results.
Yeah.
And just hope.
Yeah.
Because humans need hope to cope.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've got to just keep pushing, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, It's really tough. And also, I think working with what we do at Aspiration Digital in this space, a lot of businesses care about it, but they don't always have money for it.
Yeah.
So I imagine some people were like, oh, that sounds like a lovely idea.
Yeah.
But actually, do you know what? We've got loads of grads knocking on our door already. Oh, I don't think we need to
Exactly.
do it. And you're like, it's not the point. Yes, they might be knocking on your door, but there's so many others that don't know about this career, and we're trying to help people make informed decisions.
Yeah. And that links into sales. So over the course of starting my business, I've spent like almost £20,000 on sales training now. So like that was another challenge I had to overcome. And then I had to make sure, as I said, my business was getting in money so that I could make sure I could fill those challenges to get more money.
Yeah.
So like it was this constant cycle of like, I need money to go and do things so that I can get more money, but I don't have the money.
Yeah.
So that was like the most challenging thing, let alone paying myself at the start. Like paying myself was just like way back there, you know. I just paid myself the skimpy amount to get by. I actually worked at a youth hub that was like 1 day a week, which I absolutely loved. That taught me so much. When I first started my company, I worked at the youth hub 1 day a week, doing all the apprenticeship stuff in person, really working with those young people. And then the other 4 days, not 4, because I'd work on the weekends as well. That's a lie. The other days, I would be obviously building this business as well. So like I'd just pay myself from that youth hub job because my business wasn't making enough money. So that is the challenge, basically. Going from your expectations to your reality. Expectations are, this is going to be brilliant. Entrepreneurship's easy on social media. I'm going to make loads of money. To realising it is not easy. Yeah. And how do you bridge that gap and get to that point? Yeah. Through graft, basically.
Well, and a really mature outlook by the fact that you were happy to not pay yourself enough, but also to then at points where you had money, you went, no, I'm going to invest this in sales training because I need to get better at selling. I'm going to invest this in how do I become better at being able to do this, realising that will unlock more money in the future. But it's a long-term view.
Do you know how badly I wanted a new car? I wanted a new car. I still not bought myself a new car. Still not.
Yeah.
I literally want a new car so badly. But every single day I'm just like, no, like you need to keep reinvesting the money so that you can make more in the future. I mean, maybe I'll get a new car soon, but yeah, definitely at the start it was all around, is this actually going to properly serve me to get to where I need to be? Because if I just spent it on a new car, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Yeah.
So it's so much discipline involved in it. I mean, oh God, I have to be so disciplined all the time, not just spending money, but also to get anywhere in your career. Like if you've got really, really high goals don't really make sense, big goals, you've got to be so disciplined in all areas of your life.
Yeah.
You've got to make sure you're waking up early. You've got to make sure you're eating well, going to the gym, because these things all have an impact on your work.
Yeah, you've got to look after yourself, because if you're not healthy and your mind's not there, you're not going to be able to perform to get done what you need to get done.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's and you have to be okay with saying no to stuff or dropping out of things, and hope that your friends are going to trust that you're making the right decision for what you're trying to do and still be there for you when you need them.
I know my friendship group has become very, very small over the years compared to when I was at college, because obviously, you just become this person that's got real tunnel vision, and people start to slowly filter themselves away because you're just so focused on this one thing that sometimes you do have to say no, or you do have to put extra hours in that unfortunately you can't do in other things.
But you also make new friends through work, don't you? And new contacts that you're like, actually I might be working with you professionally, but we're actually becoming friends. Like it feels,
and I've done that quite a lot. And it's lovely.
Well, you're so personable. We met because I invited you to that dinner, and I was like, oh, I just love you, Holly, you're brilliant. So we're friends now.
We are. We're friends on Instagram as well.
Yeah, we definitely are. Oh, I love it.
Are Duolingo, Nike and McDonald's some of your favourite brands? For all the latest marketing and brand news, follow The Drum Mag on Instagram.
So what would you say? So Oben's sitting here as a 14-year-old, did you say? 15-year-old. 15-year-old. So you're back 15. What do you wish you knew then that would have helped you on this journey?
15. So what year are you in?
Going into year 11.
Oh my gosh, okay. Going into year 11, quite a transformative year that. Okay, to be honest, maybe a bit controversial, but I would actually say only stress about your English and maths GCSEs, in my opinion. Like, I stress far too much. Might be bad advice, but I don't know. I stress far too much about GCSEs, cause myself so much stress, and actually, especially for apprenticeships, most of them only want your English and maths, a lot of them. So I would have probably relaxed a bit and focused on more building my skills up, because I think that's the most important thing nowadays. And yes, grades are important somewhat to get into certain courses and things like that, but employers nowadays are actually more concerned about your skills and your ambition, your attitude. So personally, I would say to myself, just go out and try new things, and probably milk being a young person even more than I did. Because especially as I've got into business, I've definitely milked, like, being a 21-year-old, 22-year-old, 20-year-old in entrepreneurship, and like, I don't know anything, like, can you guys help me, blah, blah, blah. And people have been really great, but I'd probably go back and say to myself, milk that even more. Like, go around and be like, I'm literally going into year 11, like, I want to do this in the future. Tell everyone about your dreams, because people can help you, and ask questions. That's something, actually, I've just said a million things there, but best piece of advice that I've learned that I would say to my 15-year-old self is ask questions, open-ended questions that start with who, what, when, where, or how, or which. And that is going to get you so much further, and it's going to get you the answers that you actually need. It's going to start conversations that will change your life.
Yeah, that curiosity.
I had to learn how to ask good questions, because normally I'd ask questions that are closed questions, like yes or no answers. And they don't get you far in conversations. So I actually had to pay. That was how much I learned from my sales training, like the intricacies of things. I'd paid to learn that knowledge. So like, if I could go back and tell my younger self that, I would probably be even further.
It's a shame we don't learn this at school,
I
isn't
know.
it? Like, why isn't there a class you take on sales and how to sell? Even if you're like, absolutely, I never want to be a salesperson. It's like, yeah, but you will sell, because you'll be, for example, you could work in a job where you're not a salesperson, but you're trying to convince your boss to give you the day off tomorrow because you've just realised that you want the day off. You've got to sell the idea.
Even in families, like everyday life, people are selling. No matter what you do, that is a skill we all need to be learning.
Yeah, that being persuasive, having good conversations, being memorable, so that actually, because again, that's a big thing around when you're networking, isn't it? That you want people to remember you, so that if in a year's time they suddenly go, oh, there was that person, you want them to go, there was Holly, I need to introduce you to Holly, and be able to make that connection. Whereas if you've not been memorable, it's like, oh, I'm sure I met someone.
I know.
I don't know who that was, move on kind of thing. It's
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think a lot of that also comes down to the energy you go in the room with.
Yeah.
Which is important as well.
Did you find that draining sometimes, that kind of always showing up for those kind of things? Or,
I mean, like, obviously when you wake up, not every day you're like buzzing to go, don't get me wrong. But that's again where that discipline just comes in.
Yeah.
And where, like, as a business owner and as anyone in their career, not even a business owner, as a leader, you have to show up even when you don't feel like it. And like, you have to put your personal self and your personal challenges or whatever it is to aside for 1 second, so that you can show up for yourself in other ways.
Yeah.
So I mean, not every day I wake up and I want to do networking or whatever. Networking is quite uncomfortable, to be honest, especially when I first started. Now so not so much, because I feel like I'm getting used to it. But when I first started, it's really uncomfortable going around with no one, people you don't know.
Yeah.
And you're just figuring out who you are yourself, and you're meant to introduce yourself to all these people. But you just got to enjoy as much as you can the uncomfortable and make it comfortable, because that's where you're going to grow out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. I always say, if I'm doing something, I'm doing it or I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're not going to bring your whole self and really go for it, then why are you bothering?
Yeah.
Like, maybe you need to not go to this thing today or cancel or whatever. But if you're going, you're blooming going.
Yeah.
Like, go and absolutely give it your all.
Love it.
Because otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, if you've bothered enough to get yourself there, go in like.
Exactly.
Do you have like a opening question you use with networking, or something to kind of a conversation starter?
Do you know what? I always like to see the person before I speak about the work. Like, I hate going to networking and be like, oh, so what do you do? So I'm like, oh, everyone says that. It's like, yeah, I feel like I don't always want to hear about what that person does straight away. I want to see who they are, like who they are as a person, what they like, what they've been doing today, whatever, and get to know that person first. So I always just go in maybe asking them about, I don't know, something they were just chatting about, or maybe I've earwigged in a conversation, or like, what were they doing before this, or like, I don't know, maybe I hear their accent, I'm like, oh, where are you from? Like, and I start that type, because I'm really interested in people.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in, that's why I've obviously got my business now and started in the new company, was because it's like, I'm interested in why people do different careers.
Yeah.
So I just ask a bunch of questions basically about who they are as a person.
I love it.
Yeah.
And what's next for your future?
Oh, what's next for your future is in the company, your future, yeah.
Well, both, I guess. That's a clever, it's clever, your company name. Your future and the business, they're intertwined.
Yeah. What's next for the business, your future, is basically we're going live with our jobs on the 8th of August, which is really exciting. So we're launching with about 7 of the largest apprenticeship training providers, and then employers as well, like the Met Police and all that jazz, which is really cool. So we're launching those jobs on the 8th of August. So the next bit for us is to get those jobs on and get loads of young people into the app, getting the jobs and getting the roles, to really prove out our data and things like that. The next for my future is to really nail down and build my personal brand.
Yep.
That's something I really want to do, like even bigger than I've already got, like on completely new levels, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of back down to work, discipline, hard work, focus.
Do you follow the team at Great Influence? Ash
Yes,
Jones
I do.
and
I
Claudia.
do.
Claudia's been on here before.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're an incredible team to follow. So.
I need to watch that episode then.
Yeah, it's a really good episode. And yeah, if you need an intro to them, I can do that.
Thank
But yeah, they're big supporters of everything we're doing. So love them. Is there anything you feel like you haven't said that you wish you had, that you're like, oh, I wish you'd asked me this? There's nothing hidden in your story that we didn't get to, that you're like, oh, this was the turning moment.
No, do you know what? There's some points that I haven't really said before on podcasts that I said.
Oh, good.
So that was good.
Oh, we've got
a bit of an exclusive.
Exclusives, yeah. We can definitely take those out into the world. And honestly, it's been so interesting. Have you found it interesting, Oben?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
It's been just so much good stuff in there. So many good ideas. Where can people find you? I'm guessing on TikTok would be a good place. But yeah, tell the audience, where do they need to go follow you?
So you can find me on Holly Hobbs on all platforms. Obviously, how to get an apprenticeship on TikTok and Instagram as well. LinkedIn, obviously at Holly Hobbs as well. And then also we've got our Your Future app now, which is launched about over 10 days ago, which is spelt UR Future, on the App Store and Play Store, where young people can find out what career and jobs are best suited to them.
Amazing. You're doing such incredible things to help young people. You are such an inspiration. Like, honestly, to have done everything you've done and only be 22, I'm in awe of you, and I can't wait to watch you develop further and see what happens. So thank you so much for joining us. Oben, thank you so much for co-hosting with me, and we look forward to seeing you on a future episode of Behind the Future.
That concludes another brilliant episode of Behind the Future. Thank you so much for listening. You can listen back to other episodes on YouTube or your podcast platform of choice. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, as that will help us to grow this podcast, ensuring we can get the best guests on here for you to learn from. You can also follow us on socials, linked in the show notes for exclusive content. See you on the next episode.